You're writing about 2030 and if possible ascensions. Tell us more. 0.3% will choose the ascension line. What do you mean and how it's still going on?
Well, basically, I have an actual system of numbers that I use. And when the body reaches a density level of 5, that's called the crystal light body, which is the ascended form of humanity. And originally, it was predicted that by the year 2030, up to 0.3% of humanity would be fully activated in the crystal light body. Now the timetable has been shifted slightly, and they're predicting that the fully activated light body will start to become more and more prevalent around the year 2035, and a large percentage will be ascended by the year 2040. Some of the people who are ascending more slowly might take till 2045 or 2050 to get fully ascended. By ascension, we mean you still have a humanoid form, but that humanoid form is no longer subject to the environment the way that the lower dimensional human form is. You essentially become immortal, and as you continue to evolve into fifth density form, you eventually start radiating light. Your body literally starts turning into crystal. It's not going to be obvious at first, but over time, there will be like a shine or a shimmer, a radiance about the human form, the light body form of the human. And so it's moving a little more slowly than was originally predicted, but it is still happening. There are millions of souls who are partially activated in their crystal light bodies, and it's an accelerating thing. So you may only be 2 or 3% activated over a 10-year period, but over the next 10-year period, you might get 6 or 8% of your cells activated. And in the last 10-year period, you might have the majority of your cells converting very quickly to the light body format.
I guess some people or ego of people will say, oh, I would like to be in a part of this. How do I can feel or understand that I choose the right way? I mean, ascension line or...
In the book Soul Integration, the Russian edition, I believe it's pages 44 to 54 or something like that in Soul Integration, there's a list of almost 50 ways to raise your vibration. Now, when that book came out, I probably put meditation at number 1 and breathing at number 2 and things like that. But I'm actually putting at number 1 is being around high vibrational people. Now, that may be hard for a lot of people. You may have a negative work environment. You may have a negative family environment. You may not have the freedom to travel, to go to India, to sit at the feet of the gurus and sages. So you may have to rely on online connections with people who are at a higher vibration than yourself. But you can seek them out, whether it's coming to an in-person workshop or seminar, or whether it's attending one online, whether it's reading inspiring books. But you want to connect with as many high vibrational souls as you can. I'm not a big fan of having just one human teacher that you follow religiously. That works for some people, but for most people, they need a wide variety of teachers. Maybe some that are in their lives on a regular basis, others maybe they only attend online or they go to India or someplace to meet. But there are right now on the earth over 10,000 souls who are vibrating in levels 6 and 7 in consciousness. And it's best to find those souls and connect with them in whatever way you can. Sometimes it's just watching one of their videos or downloading a book online or something like that. In other cases, you may be fortunate enough to meet them in person or even become a friend of somebody who's at a higher vibration. So that's the number 1, and then probably meditation and breathing and yoga and eating a balanced, highly nutritional diet. And things like that would come after that.
2030, Nibiru, Annunaki, what to expect?
Well, the Nibirу planetoid is going to start influencing our solar system by the year 2030, and it'll take about 30 years to make its trajectory through the solar system and then back out around the year 2060. And during that time, the beings known as the Annunaki will likely become much more prevalent on Earth. They will perhaps land in spaceships if they're allowed to by various forces, or they'll be much more telepathically present during that transit of Nibiru through the solar system. There are a few things about Nibiru that are not well known. Number one, it's not several times bigger than Jupiter. It is, in fact, slightly smaller than Earth. And it's going to appear as a planetoid, a rogue planetoid, kind of slicing through the outer solar system. And a few astronomers have already cited it, and they're even wondering if it is a planet belonging to our sun, when in reality it slingshots around our sun and Sirius C, which is the brown dwarf star in the Sirius system. And so it's like slingshots between the two systems every 3,600 years. And so yes, it will be visible. There are other objects that are larger than Jupiter that are outside of our solar system that are influencing the orbits of the outer planets, and I think that's what's confusing some of the astronomers. But that's not Nibiru. That is, so it will be seen very soon, probably within the next 5 years. Some of the more sensitive telescopes will actually start picking up on Nibiru, and they will see it approaching the outer solar system, and they may even give it a name and say that it's a rogue planetoid that may be part of our system. Like there was one called Sedna a while back that was not Nibiru, but it was had a similar behavior.
If this event will happen, so do you expect non-mental contacts, as you say?
Yes, there will be more and more contacts with the Anunnaki, because some of the Anunnaki are incarnate on Earth as human beings who came from the Sirius C system originally, and then in many cases became resident on Nibiru as it made its 3,600-year orbit. A couple things that you must understand about Nibiru is it's going to look like it doesn't have any life on it. It's going to look like just a rocky planetoid, because the beings who live there are interdimensional. They live in dimensions 5 through 9. And so you won't see them physically, although some of them can manifest spaceships and can manifest a form on the Earth. They have that ability. So you'll get telepathic communications, a lot more of them, are probably starting around 2025. And you may have some physical visitations. The fifth density ones may take their spaceships and land on Earth once Nibiru gets close enough. But because there's no atmosphere on Nibiru, it's really a higher dimensional situation there. The lower dimensional beings really can't exist in that environment. There are some underground bases on Nibiru, with artificial environments, but those are limited. There's only maybe, I would say, a few 100,000 Nibiruans who are able to live inside the planetoid. It's again, it's an interdimensional civilization.
So do you expect some positive or negative or neutral aspects of this closest contact?
Well, the Anunnaki, like humans, had a wide variety of levels of consciousness when they visited Earth in the past. Some of them brought beneficial technology to the Sumerian people and the Egyptian people, and others wanted to be worshipped as gods. You can read stories about this Enlil, and there's a couple of other beings that were precursors to the pharaohs in Egypt, who wanted to be worshipped and looked upon as gods because they had superior technology to human beings. So you have the egotistical ones And then you have the ones that are more altruistic, meaning that they want to help humanity. So you, like is often the case, you get a blend of different levels of consciousness when a particular extraterrestrial group visits the Earth. You know, we're led to believe that it's very overly simple as, oh, are they the good guys or the bad guys? Can you imagine that extraterrestrial that knows nothing about humanity, who approaches Earth for the first time and calls up his superiors and say, there's a planet up ahead, it seems to be heavily populated. And so then the people on the radio say, well, are they the good guys or the bad guys? No, it would be, well, you can in here in Los Angeles, you can walk across the street and go from highly enlightened to barely above primitive. There's such a wide variety of people living almost side by side in places like Los Angeles and New York. Not Moscow, not quite as much, but still, even in Moscow, you can have the same effect.
I would like to ask you, Sэл Rejchel, to say some messages for Russians, for our viewers who is watching this video or who is waiting for your visits in Russia or your session with Russians, please.
Well, the timeline healing training is highly recommended. It gives you practical tools for reprogramming your subconscious mind, for clearing traumas from early childhood and past lifetimes, which basically means that it helps you erase karma. And it also helps you become a more powerful creator because you already are a powerful creator, but it's going to help you do so consciously, to create consciously. And so it's a blend of many different healing techniques, along with some unique ideas that were brought forth by my guides, the Arcturians. And there are 3 trainings going on. You don't have to commit to all 3 if that's a big commitment, but you might want to take the first training, which is in toward the end of August, beginning of September. I think it's early September, I think. And then the second and third trainings are on the subsequent weekends following the first training. And it goes a little bit into the physics of time and space, but it's mostly what I call beyond psychotherapy. Now, again, I'm not saying that it's better than psychotherapy, although a lot of people would say it is. I do think that it can be a lot more effective than psychotherapy at healing deep-seated blockages, emotional problems, core negative beliefs, those things which seem to keep you from fully manifesting your powerful, creative, spiritual nature.
Great. Thank you very much for this interview. So keep waiting you in Russia in real when it will be possible.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and we will hopefully see, we'll see some of you online right away, and then we'll see some of you in person probably next year. So many blessings to everyone who's watching this, and we look forward to meeting you in the near future.
Thank you very much.